Well, speaking with Bill O'Reilly yesterday, President Donald Trump described the nuclear deal with Iran as the worst deal I've ever seen negotiated, unquote. Also accused the Islamic Republic of disrespecting the United States because of the deal. Well, come in, Colonel Ralph Peters. Once again, thank you, Colonel, for joining us. We talked about this a little bit last week. The threat of sanctions. We already have some sanctions in place. You believe they don't go far enough. Why?
Well, because they're not potent. Unfortunately, President Obama, with this dreadful deal, Trump's right about that, it was truly awful, he painted us into a corner on two counts. One, the sanctions basically are lifted. Even if we don't lift them, the Europeans are in there, the Chinese are in there, big time. And the difference over several years ago is that Iran and Russia are now closely allied, so we can't get support for renewed sanctions. Now, we can impose more sanctions, and I encourage us to do so. It'll sting, but it won't bite. And so there are times when sanctions work. In Russia, they're working because of the concurrent drop in oil prices. They're really hurting Putin. But Iran has built up a resistance to these antibodies against sanctions. They've got their smuggling networks, etc. And I think ultimately we just have to be smart, be patient. The president should not walk away from the nuke deal because that makes us the bad guys. Secretary of Defense Mattis has that right. Be patient. Iran is going to provoke us violently at some point. They're feeling their oats. They want to test us. We need to be prepared to hit back hard and disproportionately and have a plan for any follow-through.
Yeah, it's interesting because they don't really know who they're dealing with, do they? But I would imagine, based on the last 8 years we've seen with Obama, they've got to think that the response to anything they do will be a lot stronger.
Right. Well, no, but the difference, though, Ashley, is the Iranians are now full of confidence. They do study our scene. They're certainly studying President Trump, but they've been winning for so long. They backed us down so readily and so easily that they're really pretty much convinced that we're a hollow threat and will always fold in the clinch.
Right.
And they know they've got several, they've got several cards up their sleeves. One, obviously, the Straits of Hormuz, close it, Royal International Markets. Two, if the thing escalates, you hit the onshore facilities in the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia, the oil loading facilities, refineries, etc. And then there's the big one, which is that we have over 5,000 troops in Iraq, many widely dispersed. The Iranians like hostages, and if we had an escalation with them, they would immediately try to grab U.S. troops hostage or just kill some. They're pretty widely dispersed, some of them. Now, I'm not saying that's an argument for not doing anything. I'm saying it's an argument for thorough planning, really thinking things through and not just shooting from the hip.
Very quickly, the Kremlin says it wants an apology based on the comments from, Bill O'Reilly talking to Donald Trump, saying that, look, Bill O'Reilly described Putin as a killer in that interview with President Trump. What do you say?
Well, I say Bill O'Reilly stuck up for America. Donald Trump stuck up for Vladimir Putin. Choose your patriot, A or B. As far as the Russian media go, I read the Russian media online just about every morning. It's hilarious. It's Alice through the looking glass stuff. But this morning, their newspapers are portraying Bill O'Reilly as sort of Darth Vader with a microphone and Vladimir Putin as Francis of Assisi. It's just, I mean, the faux outrage, the creepy sanctimony is just, it's better than Melissa McCarthy on Saturday Night Live doing Sean Spicer, and that was great.
Which was, by the way. But you say that President Trump was kind of, talking up Putin, saying he's a leader, I respect him, but he also said, look, I don't know if I'm going to get on with him. I've never met him. I've really never had that much dealing with him. I mean, he was just kind of on the fence. You think that's inappropriate?
Well, why the bromance? Why the man crush? If he's never met him, if he's never dealt with him, why is he in love? I mean, we have real allies in Australia, elsewhere, in NATO. The president-elect, or the president has been very, very, very hard on, and yet he's soft on an inveterate enemy of ours, Vladimir Putin, who wishes every American harm. Explain that to me.
Wow. I can't, but it'll be interesting to follow in the days and weeks and months and years ahead as we deal with Mr. Putin.
Очень интересно, as the Russians would say.
Great impersonation. All right, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, as always, thank you so much, Ralph. Appreciate it.